When buying an older home, buyers can discover some really cool history, but they also can discover some not so cool things like an abandoned oil tank. Dust off your detective skills, Nancy Drew, because we have a mystery to solve. Hi, I'm Francine Viola, Realtor in Olympia, Washington, and today we're talking about abandoned oil tanks, why buyers should care about abandoned oil tanks, and how to do the research on decommissioning. I was at a home inspection recently where the home inspector found evidence of old supply lines from a heating oil tank that used to be connected to an oil burning furnace. This home currently has a natural gas furnace, so the next question is, was the old abandoned oil tank decommissioned, and was it decommissioned properly? Finding this out can be harder than solving a Nancy Drew mystery because most decommissioning reports have only been required in the last 20 years. Unless the oil tank was decommissioned recently, trying to find old records is very challenging. And just because records cannot be found doesn't necessarily mean the tank was not decommissioned, because permits may not have been required. Currently, the cities of Lacey and Tenino do not require a permit to decommission a tank. So if the property is in these two cities, finding records is extremely difficult. The other cities and unincorporated Thurston County do require permits and inspections, and most require a soil test. But here's how you can start researching and looking for tank decommissioning records. First, determine if the property is within a city limits, and if so, go to that city's building department. If it is in unincorporated Thurston County, go to the Thurston County Permit Assistance Center and look for archive permits. Next, try the Washington State Department of Ecology. They may have records if there was soil or groundwater contamination. For the city of Olympia, the fire department may also have records. The city of Olympia is the one city that does require the fire department to be involved with the decommission. As a last resort, there are only a handful of companies in Thurston County that will decommission tanks, so you may want to call them and see if they have any records. As a buyer, why do you even care about an old oil tank? For one, you may run into lending issues if there is an abandoned oil tank. There are also environmental reasons. These oil tanks cannot last forever, and at some point they start to corrode and can leak. A spill can not only contaminate the soil, but can get into the groundwater. The cleanup can be very costly, and the property owner can be held liable. Also, if the oil tank has been out of use for more than a year, it must be removed or decommissioned. In Thurston County, homes built primarily between 1930 and 1980 could have had oil heating. The tanks could have been above ground or they could have been buried. For clues to see if a home had an oil tank, look for a fill pipe near the house. This is where the oil would be delivered to the underground tank. You may also see a vent pipe sticking up in the yard, but most times it will be the home inspector who will see the oil supply lines when they are inspecting the crawl space. Decommissioning a tank can involve excavating a buried tank and removing it completely, or it can mean leaving the tank where it is but filling it with approved material. It's also wise to take soil samples after it is decommissioned, as that can legally document whether the site is contaminated or not. So, should you buy a house with an abandoned tank? If records cannot be found, this is where it gets tricky for buyers. I always recommend contacting the experts on this. They can use metal detectors to see if there is a buried tank and can discuss the risk factors with you. They can also do a soil test for any contamination. Talk to the experts and decide if moving forward works for you. For more tips on buying and selling in today's Olympia real estate market, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.